Most people believe reading others takes years of experience. It doesn't. People are constantly revealing themselves through what they defend, what changes their energy, what they cannot tolerate, and what they talk about without realizing. The truth is, people rarely hide who they are. They simply assume nobody is paying attention, and after this video, you will never look at people the same way again. 1. Watch what they defend. If you want to read people quickly, stop focusing on what they proudly display and start paying attention to what they desperately protect. Most people think personality is revealed through confidence, appearance, or the way someone speaks. But human nature works differently. People usually reveal themselves where they become emotionally defensive. Watch carefully what happens when a person feels misunderstood, questioned, ignored, corrected, or not admired. That moment often tells you more than hours of conversation. When someone constantly explains themselves without being asked, there is usually something beneath the surface. When a person keeps proving they are successful, respected, intelligent, loyal, or strong, ask yourself a simple question. Why does this need to be protected so badly? Real confidence is quiet. It does not rush to convince. It does not panic when others disagree. It does not demand recognition every few minutes. A person who truly knows their value rarely spends energy announcing it. But insecurity behaves differently. Insecurity wants witnesses. It wants agreement. It wants protection. That is why some people become uncomfortable the moment their image feels threatened. You question one small thing, and suddenly they begin explaining everything. They defend details nobody attacked. They create long stories to protect a picture they desperately want others to believe. And most people miss this because they only listen to words. Instead, observe reactions. Imagine two people receive the same comment. The first smiles and moves on. The second immediately starts proving themselves, adding excuses, listing achievements, defending intentions. The comment was the same. The reaction revealed everything. People often protect the exact thing they fear losing. Someone obsessed with proving intelligence may secretly fear appearing average. Someone constantly defending loyalty may fear being seen as unreliable. Someone who repeatedly talks about being different may secretly fear being ordinary. This does not mean every defense is manipulation. It means emotional protection leaves clues. So next time you meet someone, do not ask only, what are they showing me? Ask, what are they unable to stay calm about? Because people are usually prepared to show you their strengths, but they accidentally reveal themselves through what they cannot stop defending. And once you learn to see that pattern, people become easier to understand than they appear. To notice the change in energy, one of the fastest ways to read anyone is to stop analyzing what people say and begin observing who they become. Most people believe personality is fixed. It is not. People change depending on who is standing in front of them, and those changes reveal more truth than their words ever will. Watch carefully. Notice how someone enters a room. Notice their voice, posture, speed, eye contact, and emotional presence. Then watch what happens when another person arrives. Do they suddenly become louder? Do they become quieter? Do they become overly agreeable? Do they start performing? That shift is information. Human beings carry different versions of themselves. The version they show is often shaped by fear, desire, respect, status, attraction, insecurity, comfort, or the need to be accepted. This is why one person can seem calm with you and completely different with someone else. The question is not which version is fake. The question is what causes the change. A person who becomes unusually energetic around powerful people may value approval more than they admit. Someone who becomes cold around confident people may feel comparison. Someone who acts dominant with quiet people but respectful with strong personalities may not be confident at all. They may simply choose situations where they feel safe controlling others. Energy shifts expose hidden priorities. Watch the details. Observe who receives their full attention. Observe who interrupts and who they never interrupt. Observe who makes them nervous and who makes them relaxed. Observe who they try to impress, because people reveal what they value through to where their energy goes. This becomes even more powerful. In groups, there is always a subtle hierarchy. Some people speak freely until one certain person enters. Others suddenly become funnier, smarter, louder, or more polished. That transformation tells you something. People do not randomly change. They respond, and responses reveal hidden emotions. The mistake most people make is believing words explain people. Words explain intentions. Behavior reveals reality. So when you meet someone, do not rush to decide who they are. See them in different environments. See them with friends. See them with strangers. See them with people they admire. See them with people they think offer no advantage. Because character is not always found in how someone acts. Sometimes character is hidden inside how dramatically they change. And the more sensitive you become to shifts in energy, the less people will be able to hide who they really are. 3. Test small boundaries. If you want to understand someone's real character, do not study them when everything is comfortable. Comfort hides people. Agreement hides people. Easy situations hide people. The moment you introduce a small boundary, something changes. And what appears in that moment is often closer to the truth than everything they said before. Most people judge others too early. Someone seems kind, respectful, generous, patient, and they assume that is who the person truly is. But there is a problem. Good behavior is easy when nothing is being challenged. Anyone can appear calm when they always get their way. Anyone can appear patient when nothing interrupts them. Anyone can appear respectful when nobody disagrees with them. Character becomes visible when expectations meet resistance. This is why small boundaries reveal so much. Notice the word small, not conflict, not games, not creating problems. Just healthy, ordinary limits. Say no to something once. Express a different opinion. Take longer than usual to reply. Choose your own preference instead of automatically agreeing. Decline an invitation respectfully. Change a plan. Ask for clarification. Watch what happens. Because people often reveal themselves not when they lose control, but when they lose convenience. Some people respond with understanding. They accept your decision. They remain respectful. Nothing changes. That tells you something powerful. Their kindness was not dependent on getting what they wanted, but other people react differently. Suddenly their tone changes. Warmth disappears. Patience becomes pressure. Respect turns into guilt. They begin questioning your decision. They make you feel selfish for having limits. And this is where many people become confused. They think maybe I'm overthinking, but sometimes you are not seeing a new person. You are seeing a side that had no reason to appear before. Small boundaries reveal hidden expectations. Someone who respected you before may actually have been enjoying access to you. Someone who seemed generous may become distant once they stop receiving attention. Someone who acted supportive may become uncomfortable when your choices no longer benefit them. Again, this does not mean every negative reaction is toxic. People have emotions. People get disappointed. That is normal. What matters is how they handle disappointment. Do they communicate or do they punish? Do they respect your decision or do they pressure you until your boundary disappears? The response matters more than the request. Watch especially for overreactions. If a small limit creates a massive emotional response, ask yourself, what expectation did this boundary interrupt? People rarely become upset only because of the boundary itself. Often they become upset because the boundary changes the role they expected you to play. And boundaries reveal something else. They reveal your relationship with yourself, because many people discover they cannot read others clearly because they never test reality. They stay agreeable. They avoid discomfort. They say yes to maintain peace. Then they wonder why people surprise them later. But people often reveal themselves earlier than we think. We simply never created situations where honesty had room to appear. You do not need dramatic tests. Life already provides enough moments. Different opinions, delayed responses, independent choices, simple no's, respectful disagreement. Watch carefully, because healthy people may not always like your boundaries, but they can handle them. People who only value access, control, approval, or convenience often struggle when limits appear. That difference is important because attraction can hide truth. Charm can hide truth. Words can hide truth. but boundaries remove disguise. And sometimes one small moment of resistance will teach you more about a person than 100 comfortable conversations. 4. Listen for what they talk about most. If you want to read people more accurately, pay less attention to the exact words they choose and more attention to the themes they repeat. Because people rarely reveal themselves in a single sentence. They reveal themselves through patterns. Most people think they hide who they are very well, but human beings repeat themselves constantly, not always with the same words, but with the same emotions, same concerns, same obsessions, same stories. Over time, those repetitions become a map. And if you learn to notice them, people begin explaining themselves without realizing it. Listen carefully to what someone returns to again and again. What topic keeps appearing? What problem never leaves their conversations? What judgment do they repeat? What success do they constantly mention? What fear quietly appears in different forms? Because repetition is rarely random. People speak most about what occupies their inner world. A person may say they value peace, but every conversation becomes competition. Someone may claim they trust people, but constantly talks about betrayal. Someone may insist they do not care what others think, yet every decision they describe revolves around approval. This is where reading people becomes different from simply listening. You are not collecting facts, you are observing direction. Imagine meeting someone who continuously talks about respect. Every story becomes about respect. Every conflict becomes about respect. Every complaint becomes about being underestimated. That does not automatically mean they are powerful. Sometimes it means recognition is extremely important to them, or perhaps they feel unseen. Now imagine someone who talks endlessly about freedom. Freedom in work, freedom in relationships, freedom in choices. Maybe they truly value independence, or maybe they deeply fear losing control. Words often point toward desires, but repeated words often point toward emotional needs. And this becomes even more revealing when people criticize others. Pay attention to repeated criticism. People often notice in others what emotionally activates them. Someone who constantly calls others arrogant may be highly sensitive to status. Someone who repeatedly complains that people are fake may deeply value authenticity or struggle to trust. Someone obsessed with weak people may fear weakness. Someone obsessed with powerful people may constantly compare themselves. Again, this is not a rule. Do not turn every sentence into psychology. Look for patterns. One comment means little. Repeated themes reveal more. Notice what stories people choose. People can talk about the same event in completely different ways. One person remembers opportunities. Another remembers disrespect. Another remembers unfairness. Another remembers lessons. The event changes. The emotional focus reveals the person. This is why conversations are more powerful than questions. If you ask direct questions, people manage their answers. But if you allow people to speak freely, eventually they circle back to what matters most to them. Do not interrupt too quickly. Do not rush to talk about yourself. Give people room. Most people reveal themselves because silence makes them uncomfortable. And when they speak enough, patterns emerge. Watch especially for emotional intensity, not volume, intensity. Notice where their eyes change. Notice where their voice speeds up. Notice where details become unusually specific. Notice where emotion suddenly appears. People become detailed around subjects that carry meaning. Sometimes what people speak about most is not what they love. Sometimes it is what they fear. Someone who constantly talks about success may fear failure. Someone who repeatedly talks about loyalty may fear abandonment. Someone who endlessly talks about being misunderstood may carry old disappointment. Human beings often speak around the center of their emotions without naming them directly. That is why listening is more powerful than questioning. You are listening for repetition, for themes, for emotional gravity. And there is another layer most people miss. Listen not only to what people talk about, listen to what they almost never talk about. Every person has areas where language becomes short. Topics change. change. Energy disappears. Some people speak endlessly about work but avoid relationships. Some speak about helping others but never discuss themselves. Some become experts at discussing ideas but uncomfortable discussing emotions. Absence also tells a story. Reading people is not about becoming suspicious. It is about becoming observant. You are not trying to expose people. You are trying to understand them more clearly. And the more you notice repeated themes, the more you realize something surprising. People spend their entire lives telling others exactly who they are. Most people simply never listen long enough to hear it. Reading people is not about becoming suspicious. It is about becoming aware. Because the moment you stop judging words and start observing patterns, something changes. You notice what others miss. You understand intentions before actions. And you stop giving trust blindly. Remember this: people usually do not reveal themselves in dramatic moments. They reveal themselves in small reactions, repeated habits, shifting energy, and ordinary conversations. Most people spend their entire lives showing who they are. Very few people learn how to see it. If this changed the way you look at human nature, subscribe to Modern Laws of Power, because the greatest advantage in life is not controlling people. It is understanding them